Hi, I'm just playing around with making some felt flowers for the brownies and the guides to have a go at. So this is just a circle of felt, cut out, and draw a spiral on it, cut that out, and then roll it in on itself. I've put it on a white bit and just done some fancy leaves. And this one is a rectangle, folded in half, and you cut from the fold down, do that all the way along, and then roll it on itself. I think the girls might quite enjoy these. So for that, you're going to need some felt. I've used a hot glue gun. You could probably use glue that's suitable for fabrics as well. I'm going to use a round protractor to draw around. I've got my ruler to cut. Let's get started. So I'm just going to use a pen to make the mark on the outside of the circle. If you did a smaller circle, you'd get a smaller rose. I just had my scissors. What did I do with them? There they are. So this is something that you could embellish with beads or buttons, bits of lace, all sorts of different things really. Doesn't have to be perfectly round either. So there's that. If you want to, you could draw the spiral. Just going to sit down again. You could draw the spiral if you want, but I just literally started and I tried to keep this distance here roughly the same. You don't want it to be too thin, otherwise your flower is going to be too big. As in, there's going to be a lot to roll out, so it's going to be like quite fat. And a bit of variation, I think, has added to the up and downness of the rose. So let me just put that all back in again. So there's our spirally circle. Then you pick it up from the middle and you just start rolling it round. I have made these before using paper, but I've never thought to do them with felt before. And I do think this is the kind of thing that each time you do it, you're going to get a slightly different result. And I try and keep the bottom bit lined up like that. And if you want to, you could pop a bit of glue as you're going around. My glue's just over there. I'm not near enough to the plug. So yeah, we just roll it round and round and round. And the felt is going to give it like a nice wobbly bit. This is the bit where we first started cutting into the circle, and if you don't like it, just cut it off a bit. It's fine. No right or wrong. No right or wrong with any of this. So that's the bottom of it. And then that's the top. I will just trim that bit off where the pen was. There's another bit there. And if you want to, you can push it out a little bit like that so that it kind of falls in a bit more, or you can push it out that way. Totally up to you. If you wanted to, you could hand stitch this together as well, of course. So that's my rose. I'll finish gluing it in a minute. And then you can see where I've already cut out the leaves. It's literally just a case of cut out a leaf shape. I wouldn't make them the same either. Make them a bit different, a bit more interest. And like that. And then I did use a piece of felt for the underneath. So I've just got this rectangle here. I'm going to stick that on there like that. Just make sure you're happy with how it looks. Quite like the way that's raised up in the middle. Just check if my glue gun's hot enough. So I'm just going to put a bit of glue along there just to hold it in place. It might kind of start smoking a bit because depending on what kind of felt you've got, it might melt the felt. And then I'm literally just going to I did have another glue stick ready. Oh, here it is. They hide on the table. And then stick it down on there. Ideally, I should have put the leaves in first. I just love how stringy hot glue is. There we go. And then I just cut away the white base. And there we have it. One little rose. And then I'll just get a badge pin to put on the back there. And so I've also just remembered, when I've made one of these with paper before, instead of just cutting a straight line for the spiral, I have done a wibbly wobbly line, and that gives you more up and down kind of petals. And obviously you can put like a button or a bead or something in there to make it look like the centre. So let's make one like this now. And with this one, you need a rectangle. So I'm just gonna, you can tell I'm not being very exact about this at all. A nice rectangle of felt, fold it over. If you were doing it with children, you might want to pin it so that it doesn't come loose. So I'm not going to do that. And then depending on how big you want these bits to be is how wide you cut it going along here. I wouldn't do it too small because the felt might rip. So you want to cut down to about there, like that. Don't want to cut all the way down because otherwise it will just fall apart. And you can vary these bits as well. You don't have to do them all the same width. That'll add a bit of interest to it. And if you are doing it with youngsters and they cut all the way down by accident, it's fine. Just join another piece of felt onto it. So you can wrap one and then just add another bit on. And if you don't want to make a brooch, you can stick it onto a card. That would be equally fine. So we've cut all of our bits. And now we need to roll it up. Now you can just keep these edges together and start rolling it like that. Because this piece of felt was thicker, wider than this one, you're going to get like a much deeper flower. I suspect, because I have done this when I've done it with ribbon before, you can offset it slightly as well. And then that will give you equally lovelier look. Just keep it lined up here at the bottom. So for the purposes of this, I am just going to keep it lined up. And roll it up. And you can see why it's sometimes a good idea to offset them, because it's the more it's rolling in on itself, the more it's getting out of line anyway. There we go. Don't drop it, Sue, don't drop it. So there's that one. I think I prefer this one to that one. Let me just get the glue gun again. You want that lump there. And because this is folded over, you do want to do a bit of glue on the inside there, just to make sure it's all stuck down. Isn't hot glue one of the stretchiest, stickiest things? You can mess around with pulling out a little bit. And then we'll do the same thing. Cut a little white. I'm just using white because I just happen to have it. But before I stick it on this time, I am going to do the leaves first. And although I've done all these other ones as like long pointy leaves, this one I might do some quite round maybe not. Quite round leaves. So I might have that on there like that. And just roughly cut around this one. If you want to, you can make jaggy edges in those and all sorts. I've been very jaggy on this one anyway, so let's just trim it down a little bit. Might do these ones going a bit closer together. And then I'll just trim. Might leave that bit there. And just get a dollop of glue there. Oh, sorry. So, there we have it. Some nice felt brooches. I'm not quite happy with those leaves, but that's the beauty of it. It doesn't cost much and you can take it apart and then redo it or cut them to shape however you'd like them to be. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.